Hey everyone, and welcome to today's WordStream webinar, 10 Deadly Sins in Your PPC Account and How to Fix Them. My name's Callie. I'm here to kick things off and get some logistics out of the way. Following our presentation, you'll receive an email from today's presenter, Erin Sagan, with her recording and the slides so you can review them again. So don't feel like you need to scribble down a ton of notes. You will have these in your inbox later on this afternoon. Also, we will have a little bit of time for Q&A following the presentation, so definitely be sure to submit your questions throughout the webinar. Don't be shy, and we'll get to as many as possible. For those of you who are not familiar with WordStream, we are a search marketing software provider with free and paid tools to help you easily grow your AdWords and Bing campaigns. And recently, we've added Facebook campaigns to this as well. So if you're looking to master paid search, paid social, pretty much anything digital marketing related, definitely check out our PPC University at wordstream.com/learn. Now we encourage you to be, we encourage you to be social throughout the presentation, so definitely join the conversation on Twitter with the hashtag PPCSins. And follow at WordStream, and again, our presenter today at Erin Sagan. Now, I'm excited to introduce the one and only Erin Sagan. No pressure. She is our PPC Evangelist and Community Manager here at WordStream. She's been at WordStream for quite some time now, over 4 years. In her free time, when she's not knee-deep in blog posts or preparing for different conferences throughout the country, or doing webinars with me, she's hula hooping around Boston, or she's traveling the world, or she's catching up on all her Netflix. And definitely feel free to tweet her at Erin Sagan. She's very vocal and active there, so you can find out more about her there. And now I'm going to pass it over to her to get started.
Hi guys, I'm so excited to be here today. And when Callie asked me to talk about the 10 deadly sins in your PPC account, it kind of brought me back in time to elementary school. I spent 6 wonderful years at a Catholic elementary school where we talked a lot about the deadly sins and sinning and the like. And one of the big things that we do in Catholic school is you go to confession. So you go to the priest, you tell them all the terrible things you've done. Normally for me it was torturing my adorable little brother and sister. The priest gives you your penance, you say your prayers, and you're absolved of your sins. Now, I've noticed as I started working with clients here at WordStream and consulting for them that a lot of clients are kind of admitting their PPC sins to me. And I almost became like the priest offering a confession. They came to me, they told me what was wrong, and I told them what they needed to do to absolve their sins. So today I'm going to let you guys in on kind of those top confessions I have heard about sins people are making in their PPC account, and I'll show you what I would do to fix them. So without further ado, let's get started with confession number 1, which is my account is a mess. And this happens far too often. We see it all the time, accounts that are overstuffed with keywords and completely disorganized. As you can see here, for this particular account, this client has 988 keywords in this particular ad group. 988. And they have a small set of ads to serve all of those keywords. This is incredibly, incredibly dangerous. And I should point out here, when I say, there's only a couple ads serving for this, there's no way you can customize those ads to those specific keywords. So it's critical that this client start breaking it up and reorganizing the account. Now, one thing that we see as you start to break up this account and you start to dive in and look at it is that there's probably a ton of keywords that just aren't getting any impressions. And if that's the case, you need to do some serious cleaning. So here are kind of 3 questions you should be asking yourself as you look through your account. Do your ad groups have more than 30 keywords? Do you have a huge number of ad groups and campaigns? And Are you not sure why the structure is the way it is? Did you inherit this account? The key here is if you have any of those situations happening, it's time to restructure your account. Time to give it a makeover. First things first, go ahead and delete the junk. So remember how I said there's a bunch of people, when they start looking in their accounts, they start recognizing keywords that have like 0 impressions or just a couple of impressions. Those keywords don't need to hang around in your account. They're probably just making it harder for you to assess and organize your account. So go ahead and delete those. And I think a lot of people are scared to delete keywords. Remember, you can always add them back in if you think that they're going to be more beneficial in the future as trends change. There's no sense in keeping those keywords in your account when they're not yielding anything. Now, I will give you a quick reminder. If you put the keyword in a week ago and you only let it run for a short period of time, it's probably not time to take it out yet. It depends on the amount of traffic your account is getting to have a really good sense for when to kind of cut ties with a keyword. But a general rule of thumb is let a keyword run for 2 months. If after 2 months you're not seeing any traction, it's probably time to get rid of it, just to clean up your account. Another thing you want to do is split up your ad groups. So if you do have those huge ad groups, like I mentioned before, there's no way your ads are really, really relevant to all of the keywords in that ad group. So you need to break these down into tightly knit, granular groups surrounding a specific phrase. And that's going to allow you to write really, really specific ads to match these terms. Now, if you have a huge account in disarray, it can be tough to start doing that breaking down and that splitting. So WordStream does have a tool where we'll help you identify how to split up your larger ad groups. Basically select the ad group and we'll propose new groupings based on linguistic patterns that we're seeing within those words. So you can do it yourself or you can turn to a tool like this, but the key here, kind of the mantra you want to have in the back of your mind as you're doing this account cleanup is tightly knit, granular, relevant ad groups with hyper-specific ads and landing pages. Okay, confession number 2, I abuse broad match. This is one thing that I hear from a lot of our clients. It's kind of like one of the first issues we identify in their account. So look at this. This client, her name is Kimmy. She had a bakery. And as you can see here, she went and she built out an ad group for chocolate cakes. I said, Kimmy, build a chocolate cakes ad group. And she comes back to me and she has a beautiful ad group. These keywords are perfect. They go together perfectly. They all follow a very specific theme, which is chocolate cakes. There is just one problem. Every single one of these terms is on broad match. So Kimmy all of a sudden is opening herself way outside of chocolate cakes. Here's why. The way broad match really works is it lets a keyword trigger ad to show when someone searches for that phrase, similar phrases, singular or plural forms, misspellings, synonyms, stemmings, related searches, other relevant variations. Look at that. That alone should make you not want to use broad match. It's literally everything but the kitchen sink that you're shoving in there, right? Google is very smart, right? Broad match is their go-to match type. It is the default for most people. And the reason that they do this is because they want you to get more traffic. They want you to open yourself up so you're more likely to get clicks on your ads. The more clicks on your ads that you're getting, the more in Google. But if they're not relevant clicks, then they're probably not worth your while. So when I go back to Kimmy and I think about her chocolate cakes ad group, in her mind, all of these terms are really only going to show to people who are genuinely looking for chocolate cake. When I see broad match, in my mind, I see a wide realm of possibilities, right? Somebody could be searching for crab cakes, because it's on broad match, wedding cakes, chocolate, because the word cake is in there, it can match to somebody looking for crab cakes. Oktoberfest, German Oktoberfest. If somebody is looking to go to an Oktoberfest celebration, right? They have the word German in there, it could link to that. Extra dark chocolate candy bar, right? She's bidding on a word that includes dark chocolate on broad match. Anything dark chocolate. Somebody's looking for it, her ad could show. And finally, wedding gown. Somebody's doing a search for wedding gowns. Google sees that they type in wedding, it matches to her chocolate wedding cakes, and boom, her ad can show. So as you can see, Kimmy thought that she was going for this really targeted group of people just looking for one very specific thing, but broad match opened her to way more queries from people who were totally not relevant searchers for her. So the pendants here is really you want to explore different match types. There's multiple match types out there, and I think because Google offers broad as a default, everyone kind of automatically defaults to broad, and they don't think to kind of look outside the box and try other match types. There's a time and a place for every match type. I should point out, I don't hate broad match. The times that I use broad match is to do almost keyword research. I'll put terms on broad match on a super, super low bid, just so I can see what's coming through a search queries to find new keywords. There's a time you can use any of these match types. My go-to is a modified broad. What modified broad means is the search term must contain parts of the keyword. So I should give you an example here. Essentially, with modified broad match, you're adding a plus sign ahead of each word within your keyword. And you're saying Google can only show the ad to somebody if all of the words with the plus sign appear within the searcher's query. But there can be other words too. So you see, it ensures that you're catching people that you're definitely looking for, but they can type it in any order. They can add other words to it. They can put in mild variations. It just ensures that you're kind of protecting yourself from that super broad match type. I also recommend implementing a tiered bidding strategy if you do want to bid on the same term on various match types. This is something that's a little bit more complicated. I would recommend only doing it if you're pretty familiar with base search, you're pretty comfortable. But we'll see some of our clients bid on the same keyword on multiple different match types. They bid the most for an exact match because that is going to be the most qualified searcher. The person who's looking for exactly what they're bidding on, they're pretty sure they can convince that person to click and convert. And then they kind of pull the bid down a little bit as they get to less restrictive match types. So they're going to bid very little on a broad match term, which will bring in potentially good traffic, potentially bad traffic. They don't know, so they're not going to kind of go full on with that term. No, this is just an example. I've seen people do all sorts of variations with the increases and decreases. You'll have to decide what works best for you and base it on the traffic that you're seeing coming in. But I would definitely recommend this tiered bidding strategy as something to get comfortable with over time, because I think it can be a really good way to ensure that you're showing up quite a bit, but you're really prioritizing the best terms for you and the best searchers for you. So again, kind of the key thing to think about here is the higher the relevancy, the higher the bid. The lower the relevancy, the lower the bid, because it's less important to you. Confession number 3. I rarely use negative keywords. I hear this all the time, and it literally makes my stomach turn. This is a really dangerous route to go. When I see this in an account, it's the first thing that I address with a client. And here's why. You absolutely need to be using negative keywords. These are what help you keep out people who you definitely know are not relevant to your campaigns, right? When we think back to Kimmy's Cakes, yeah, she's bidding on all these terms that include cake. She never wants to show up for somebody looking for crab cakes. She doesn't offer crab cakes. She's a bakery. She's selling cakes. By setting crab as a negative, that will automatically help her to exclude anybody looking for crab cakes. Kind of nips the problem in the bud. So it's critical that you're using these negatives, and you can use them in two ways. You can use them in a kind of premeditated way, so you know kind of ahead of time these are definitely terms you don't want to show up for, and you can set them kind of preemptively. Or there are cases where you don't know that you want to set something as a negative keyword until you see it start coming in on your search query report. And then you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I've been showing for that. It's not yielding traffic, or more importantly, maybe it's yielding traffic, but not yielding qualified traffic, so you're not seeing conversions coming through. And then you can kind of stop the bleed by setting it as a negative. So first things first, when you're setting negatives in your account, you need to be prepared to use them properly. So you need to do the investigative work to understand how negatives work. And this is a big, big problem I see out there. A lot of people don't know that negatives have match types, just like positive keywords have match types. A lot of people don't know that you can set negatives on the account level, the campaign level, or all the way down to the ad group level. So you need to be prepared for these things, right? An account level negative is going to be much more, banning much more from coming into your account than an ad group level negative. Now, when you're ready, when you feel comfortable setting negatives and you're ready to start doing them in your account, one of the top places I go to is my search query report, or in WordStream, we call it our query stream. And I do a little organization, quick organization. Essentially, I organize my account by click-through rate. I organize it by conversions. I organize it by impressions. I kind of play around with it a few times. And what I'm looking for are terms that are getting traffic, so I'm spending money on them, but are not yielding conversions, right? Terms that you're spending money on. People are viewing them, they're clicking on them, and you're not converting. If I see negatives in those, I set those negatives. I also look for words that maybe aren't yielding clicks or conversions, obviously. So I'm not paying for anything, but they're getting a ton of impressions, which could be destroying my click-through rate. And if I see words in those things that are yielding a ton of impressions but no clicks, then I also want to search for negatives in them. Once I find my negative, highlight it, set it as a negative keyword, and then you need to make the decision of the match type you're going to use. More often than not, it's going to be broad, and the level that you're putting it on, the ad group, the campaign, or the account. And for most people, especially who are new to setting negatives, the negatives that you're looking at are going to go on the account level. It's going to be a little bit more advanced to start putting them on the ad group or campaign level, because that's really looking to kind of mold your traffic, right? To try and ensure that everything is flowing the proper way. But generally, in the beginning, you're going to be doing account level negative. Okay, that brings me to confession number 4, which is I'm overbidding for position number 1. People lust after position number 1. They obsess over it. Position number 1 is great. It typically yields better click-through rates. Of course, if you're getting more clicks and they're qualified clicks and you have a good group of people coming to your website, you can assume that you'll get more conversions. So you may be thinking to yourself, of course I lust after position number 1, and of course I'm in pursuit of it. That's fine, but you shouldn't be overbidding for it. and that is key. Overbidding is super, super dangerous. I mean, it can just destroy your budget. It could be impacting your quality scores. That's something a lot of people don't think about. You know, if you're making it to position number 1, Google has a higher standard for you. They expect to see high click-through rates because you're in that top position. And if you're not pulling through and getting those high click-through rates, that can destroy your quality score. Another thing you want to think about, again, driving your CPA up too high. That can be painful. Your boss isn't going to like it. Your client isn't going to like it if you're an advertiser or if you're an agency. So you need to obviously be very careful about your CPA. And then finally, we also see in some cases it instigates a bidding war, right? You know, 2 companies with money to burn are bidding and bidding for that position number 1. They're hiking their prices up. You know, Google doesn't have to do anything to drive this price up. The companies are the ones who are incurring these extra costs because they're competing with one another. I've actually seen clients engage in gentlemen's agreements over crazy bidding wars because they're like, this is getting crazy. We're just pouring money into Google to beat each other. So you don't want to overbid to get to position number 1. Instead, you want to start with really smart initial bids. Don't automatically shoot for position number 1. Automatically shoot in that beginning to make it to the top of the page. You know, make it to position number 3. That's fine. Make it to position number 4 even, right? We're seeing that position number 4 can now potentially be all right too. If you can make it to one of those kind of medium level positions, see how your account does, make tweaks, work on improving your quality score, and you can actually move yourself up the ranks of position if your ads are doing well without bumping up your bids by just getting those quality score increases. Or if you see something's doing really well in position 3 or 4, then you might say, okay, I want to put some more juice behind this. My quality score isn't delivering the push I need. You know, then put some money at it. But don't go in for top dog first. Watch how your ad plays out kind of in those lower positions, improve it, enhance it, and then slowly make a play to move up the page. And if you don't feel like doing that, because I know that can be a lot of work, a lot of attention spent on every keyword, which can be really, really daunting to people who have large accounts or people who don't have this as their sole job, then you might want to invest in a bid management platform. And there's a lot of good ones out there. Even in Google, there's all sorts of rules that you can create. Here at WordStream, we have a tool that helps you very slowly adjust your bids. Our kind of recommendation is that you should be slowly tweaking things over time rather than making huge jumps when it comes to bidding, and we'll recommend those bid increases and decreases for you. But I think the bottom line is here, if you're not comfortable starting lower and then working towards better bids and being hyper involved in your account to ensure that you're doing that, then you'll want to invest in a platform that can help you. All right, confession number 5. I'm a lazy account manager. So I hate to put you guys on the spot, but I have a quick poll for you here. I'd love to know how often you log into your AdWords account. And my suspicion is that because you're actually showing up to webinars and doing all this stuff to learn and improve your account, you guys are probably better than the average, but let's see what we're working with here. So, Callie's launching the poll. Callie, let me know when it's looking good.
Close this out and share the results with everyone. So it looks like 17% logs in hourly.
Wow, that's
Impressive,
impressive.
yeah. And then a whopping 45% is daily, and then 25%, 26% weekly, and then the rest is split evenly between monthly and quarterly.
All right. Wow. That's pretty good. I'm very, very impressed. Not surprised. You guys are all on top of your shit, but good job. So what is the average advertiser kind of rolling in at? Well, according to our research, 50% of SMBs only do optimization once per quarter. That's only 4 times a year. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, there's no way you can move the needle in your account if you're only diving in a couple of times a year. Even diving in, once a month isn't going to do it for you. It's critical that you're in there at least once a week, if not every day or hourly, like some of you overachievers, which is awesome. But I think one of the keys to managing these accounts is just being involved. A lot of people, if they don't have this kind of ongoing attention in the account, they don't identify trends, be it seasonal, be it weekly. They don't identify when there's an issue in the account, which can be, have a very dramatic impact. I had an advertiser once who was bidding on terms, I forget, it had something to do, it was fibers. He was in China. He was bidding on these terms for these scientific fibers. Traditionally have very low traffic. All of a sudden, Justin Bieber releases a new video. All these Chinese people are looking for the new Justin Bieber video, and people were misspelling Bieber, and it was matching to fiber. And all of a sudden, his traffic spiked, and he wasn't looking in his account on a regular basis, and then all of a sudden he realized he had basically spent tons of money in just a short period of time. And it was because of all these Bieber queries that were misspelled and getting broadly matched to fiber. And he got screwed. So there's no excuse for being a lazy account manager. You have to find a way to get involved in your account. Another thing we see, and this is even with people who are active in their accounts, is that they're solely relying on Google's suggestions to do the optimization. Now, Google is, pretty nice. They have this whole tab committed to helping you make optimizations in your account. And in that Opportunities tab, one of the things you'll notice is you see a lot of recommendations to spend more money in AdWords. But what you don't see is a lot of recommendations to cut back. Now, these aren't necessarily evil suggestions. They're all good suggestions, but they're all focused on spending more money to get better results and none on saving money. Most of us don't have money to blow. So we need to be constantly adding things to our account like Google's recommending, but also cutting costs elsewhere to make it a viable solution, right? You can improve your account by spending more money on it if you can knock out places you're wasting money and it all breaks even. So my recommendation is to use tools like the 20-minute work week. That's a tool that WordStream has, kind of the cornerstone of our product. Once a week, you hop into the account. We have 6 alerts for you, and we're going to help you do basic optimization. Adding negatives, adding keywords, optimizing your ads, removing duplicate keywords, removing costly keywords or adjusting costly keywords, and optimizing your bids. 20 minutes a week, you can hop in at whatever point in the week you like, knock out these issues, and you can kind of rest assured that you're taking care of, A, the most important things happening in your account, and you're doing work that's going to help you add to the account and, again, subtract wasted spend from the account. Plenty of tools out there that you can use. I recommend the 20-minute work week, particularly for those of you who don't have a ton of time to do it. Confession number 6. I focus more on my competitors than myself. So it's kind of like a middle school girl problem, People have unhealthy obsessions with their rivals. And the scene probably strikes a chord with some of you out there, right? How many times have you kind of had a crush on someone, there was someone else, and you obsess over the other person? I had a friend who had a real problem with this. So the penance here is stop obsessing over what your competitors are doing. Stop trying to figure out what keywords they're using. Stop trying to, figure out what their bids are, or who's writing their ads, or whatever it should be. Focus on your own offerings. First off, ensure that your keywords only align with your offerings. I see people who try and bid on every keyword they think their competitor is bidding on. But what they do is they start to bid on things that are outside their realm. So where you can see, for example, here, next day delivery prom dresses. See, these guys are offering an ad indicating to us that they have next day delivery on their prom dresses. And then you get on their site, and there's literally nothing that can be delivered within the next day. They only have 7-day shipping. So it's like they bid on this term because their competitor was bidding on it, and they wanted to be right up top with them. See, they're using dynamic keyword insertion to plug in that term. Boom, I'm excited. I click on it, and I'm disappointed. Not only am I put off by this company who's false advertising their options, I'm also not going to convert, and they just paid for my click. So as you can see, this is a really stupid mistake they're making here. It only hurts them, and it's because they're not thinking about themselves, they're thinking about their competitors. So make sure that all of your keywords genuinely align with the offers that you have for people. And analyze your search query report. Look at the terms that you're converting on. Anything that's not currently a keyword that you're converting on, add those terms to your account. Those are the words you want to be bidding on. The words that you're already producing for you. You want to squeeze the most out of them. Another thing is, don't be a copycat. And I'll get into this a little bit more later, but I see people who try and just copy their competitors' ads. You can see these ads are almost exactly the same. At least the first couple lines of them are. That doesn't help anybody. That doesn't make your ads stand out at all. And you're really just, it's like a crapshoot. This person, 98%, well, hey, I've got 99%. Nobody cares. That's 1 percentage point, So make sure you're writing good ad copy, and I'll talk about this a little more. Another confession all the time is my ad copy stinks. Because the ads don't stand out. They're like these Where's Waldo things where all the ads look the same and you can barely tell the difference between them. And people's ads don't stand out. You want to make sure your ads are standing out. And to do this, you need to identify what it is that makes you special. What is it that makes your product or service unique? And you need to highlight that fact in your ads. For JetBlue, their big thing is they have the most legroom in coach. And you see that everywhere. That is their unique selling proposition. Expedia, their big thing is they're cheap. And so they tell people, hey, we're cheap. We're the cheapest out there. Tom's has a different spin on it. And this is a really unique one. For those of you who don't have that really clear leg up on your competitor, well, Tom's just says, hey, we're good people here. And by supporting us, you're supporting good causes. We're doing good things for the world. Their products aren't cheaper than anybody else's. Frankly, they're more expensive. But people buy them because it makes them feel good, because they have this very unique selling proposition that people want to support. So identify what it is that makes your product or service unique, and then tout it in your ad. Right? You have 95 characters here. That's not a lot of space. So make sure that you're prioritizing and ensuring that that line that you really want to shine through appears in your ad. And I usually recommend trying to hit it around line 1. In addition to that, make your ads pop using extensions. As you can see, between these two ads, this one stands out way more. And even if the positions were reversed, this ad would stand out. And it's because they have all these wonderful additional things right there, right? These extensions allow you to share more information with people who are searching. In addition, they're free and easy to set up. It's a one-time setup. You just pop in, you add them in AdWords. It doesn't cost you anything additional. And by adding them, all of a sudden your ad gets way bigger. Like this ad is double the size of this one. And it's simply because you've appended these extensions. So definitely get in, add your ad extensions. There's a wide variety to choose from. And as you can see, we're getting way better performance on ads that have extensions, up to 30% more clicks. Like I said earlier, there's tons of options. The extensions kind of are endless that are out there. There's site link extensions, call-out extensions, review extensions, call extensions. If you're appearing for mobile devices, this is huge. People can call you directly from your ad. App extensions, again, huge. If you've spent money to create an app, pimp out your app. Let people know about your app. You spent money to create it. Get people into it through your ads. You know, we see people are more likely to convert within an ad than on your mobile landing page. Get them there. Finally, location extensions. So you need to decide which extensions fit the best for your campaigns or your ad groups and append those. There's also, if you're using Bing, a whole host of cool new extensions worth checking out in Bing, including video extensions and image extensions. So a lot you can do with these, and I can't stress enough how freaking easy they are to set up. Finally, with your ads, create urgency using ad customizers. We know that people are way more likely to follow through with a purchase if they have kind of a, what's the word? The word isn't coming to me, but you know when there's like this theory of scarcity, right? So if there are fewer things available to you, you're more likely to make a purchase. You're more likely to take that plunge because you know things are running out. So you can create this sense of urgency with your audience by adding in these ad customizers. Now, in the past, when you wanted to do any sort of a countdown or show a dwindling product supply, you had to physically sit there at your computer and change your ads over time. With this, you just add in a little snippet of code, and that will automatically add in a countdown within your ad. Or add in, it's a countdown for dwindling product supply as well as a countdown for when the sale is coming to an end. So that's going to immediately add that in there. It'll count it down for you. You can go home, you can go out, and your ads will continue to be customized based on your product supply. And we've just seen incredible results from these. You know, like I said, with that theory of scarcity, as people start to recognize that the product they want is dwindling or the sale that they're excited about is coming to a close, we see conversion rates start to jump way up. Click-through rates are up, but moreover, conversion rates increase by up to 3x. Confession number 8, I'm not tracking my PPC progress. This is another big one. I think a lot of us who either are running things for our own companies or don't have strict bosses tend to fall into this trap where they don't really track their progress. They just extra work. They don't bother setting it up. And, you know, they just kind of assume it's doing its job, right? There's this, oh, I assumed we were doing well. I base it on, you know, if the phone was ringing more, I assumed my PPC was helping me out. Well, the reality is you may not be doing as well as you thought. We have this grader report here where you can plug in your account credentials and we'll help you understand how you're doing in comparison to other people in your same industry. If you're not tracking these things, or if you're not regularly getting in and looking at your performance, you may not be doing as well as you thought. So the big thing here you need to do is set up conversion tracking. That conversion tracking is going to help you understand if you're bringing relevant traffic to your website. you might be getting tons of traffic from paid search, but if you don't know what these people are doing once you get to your website, you have no idea if you're doing a great job or a horrible job. Conversion tracking kind of closes out that question for you. And on top of that, set up call tracking. This is just the same as conversion tracking for any leads that are coming in by phone. You want to know if a lead comes in by phone, did that come from my PPC account? Did this person find me on paid search? You can't really ask them that on the phone. With keyword level call tracking, what we do is we automatically insert a unique phone number on the landing page for anybody who comes in through one of your PPC campaigns. When the call rings through to your business, we track that phone call, we record it, we help you understand, A, did that call lead to a conversion? B, what keyword did that call come from? And this can be hugely beneficial to you in figuring out what keywords are yielding your big leads. And finally, just like I said before, you got to be reporting on your progress. Not only tracking things in your account, but also reporting on it, identifying trends, identifying changes. This is critical for ensuring they're always going the extra mile to make it better. Or identifying when things really are good and figuring out what you did change to create this improvement. Confession number 9. You are avoiding remarketing. This kills me. I am the hugest fan of remarketing. Kind of think about it this way, right? When you take a girl out on a date, they very rarely go home with you that first night. You have to court them over time. You have to take them out to dinner. You have to take them to the movies. And then eventually they're going to go home with you. And it is the exact same thing for the person that you're courting through paid search, right? Somebody doesn't see your ad, come to your page and be like, I'm going to buy your product right there off the bat. There are some cases where they do, right? Some low margin products, some products where it doesn't require a lot of thought, or emergency products. But 9 times out of 10, people are doing research, they're thinking about it, they're not converting right off the bat. Now, if you paid for somebody to click on your ad originally, and they're qualified and they're spending time on your site and they're interested in you, but they don't convert right there off the bat, it doesn't mean they're not good for you, and you definitely don't want to lose them. So that's where remarketing comes in. I'll give you this example. I love Jenny's Splendid Ice Cream more than I love my boyfriend. Just realized now that I'm saying that publicly, so hopefully this doesn't get back to him. But this ice cream is absolutely incredible. It is based out of Ohio. If any of you guys are in Columbus, Ohio, now you know what to do this afternoon. You got to go get some of this. It is incredible. Just one thing, it is an incredibly pricey addiction that I have. A pint of Jenny's costs $12, and a pint of Breyers, my second favorite ice cream, rolls in at $2.99, which means I could buy 4 pints of Breyers for 1 pint of Jenny's. So I try and focus on buying Breyers to fulfill my ice cream need. But from time to time, I do check out the Jenny's website because I like to see what flavors they're offering. I like to check out what's going on there. And earlier this year, I was on the Jenny's website, saw some flavors I liked. For the first time, their ads started following me. And I started seeing their ads pop up when I was reading the news or doing work, writing a webinar, and after seeing their ads once or twice, I was able to stay strong. It's like, A, I don't need this ice cream, B, can't afford it. Then I saw the ads 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and I caved, right? I couldn't stay strong past, 5 amazing ice cream ads. And the next thing you know, not only am I filling my cart with 1 pint of pineapple upside down cake, buttermilk, frozen yogurt, come on. But all of a sudden, I was filling it with pineapple upside down cake, ice cream sandwiches, lemon and blueberry, because it was these other ads that I saw had almost painted this picture that A, I needed this ice cream, but B, I needed all the different flavors. So the next thing I know, I'm spending like nearly $60 on ice cream. Now, that made me very happy, as you can see here. It also made Jenny's PPC account manager pretty happy because their remarketing tactic worked. But this is a pretty simple strategy. It's pretty straightforward, and it really yields good results. So it kills me when I hear that people aren't doing it. I think one of the main reasons people don't do it is because they think it's creepy, right? Courting, it's all fun and games until somebody gets a restraining order, right? They worry about like, ooh, you're showing me too many ads and it's creeping me out. Don't worry about being creepy. The reality is conversion rates increase the more you show somebody the ad. So think back to me with that ice cream. One time, no big problem. I could resist my cravings. 2 times, still wanted the ice cream, but I held off on buying it. It took it, 5 or 6 times of seeing the ad before I actually converted. So you're more than 2 times more likely to convert after seeing the ad multiple times, right? Because you're basically nurturing somebody through this process. So my point here is, don't worry about being creepy. Set up remarketing. It's easy to set up. You can do it in a very sophisticated way, or you can do it in a very basic way. So depending on your level of expertise, you might set it up differently, but it is pretty straightforward. It doesn't require a ton of maintenance, and we tend to see very, very good performance. And then I should also point out, we are more focused on search with this webinar, but you can also do remarketing on Facebook, which is pretty cheap and actually incredibly effective. WordStream just released a tool to help people do this. So if you're interested in remarketing on Facebook, check out our social ads tool. And then finally, confession number 10, I'm not prepared for mobile searchers. Mobile holds incredible opportunity for advertisers in the digital space. And the reason I say that is because more people are doing searches on their mobile phones than on desktop computers. We have finally made the plunge as a society. We're finally seeing more people kind of favoring their little tiny phones over their computers. Now, the problem is, we don't see very good performance on mobile. And it's because a lot of mobile phones have really crappy landing pages. Right? How many times have you gotten to a mobile site and just wanted to kind of throw your phone across the room? Because it's not easy to use and not easy to convert off of. And if these landing pages remind you anything of your landing pages, then you should be ashamed of yourself. I mean, this is a really big problem. These landing pages are terrible. And the sad thing is we built those landing pages on purpose. These are not desktop landing pages on a mobile phone. These are mobile-specific landing pages that somebody built on purpose. You might be thinking, like, why didn't I build these crappy things on purpose? These are awful. Well, we built them a really long time ago, right? We built them back when mobile was really slow. And so we needed these super basic pages because they loaded on a mobile phone, and a more kind of busier page wouldn't load properly. We did it because mobile screens were small, and we wanted to ensure that people would be able to see what we were showing them. So we made our landing pages super basic. So how do you know if your landing pages suck? Well, give people an out. Let people have the opportunity to visit your desktop site. And if you find that people are doing that, that's an indication that your mobile site isn't good enough for them. So we ran a test on 3 clients with outdated landing pages, and we saw that 1/3 of the visitors clicked to go to the desktop site on their mobile device rather than using the mobile landing page. And what's even scarier is the people who were choosing to go to the desktop site, the full site on mobile, they were more likely to convert. So that means our mobile landing pages were backfiring on us. You see, the mobile landing pages, which we designed for mobile, people didn't like them, and people are less likely to convert on them. So the key here is if you fall into this group of people who have kind of crappy landing pages, is you need to revamp them. That's the only way you're going to see more conversions coming through. Now, you might be hearing this and kind of thinking like dollar signs, like, oh, revamping my mobile landing pages, that sounds super expensive. If you don't have the funds to do it with an outside firm or you don't have the resources to do it in-house on your own, WordStream Advisor does have a mobile landing page tool that's super easy to use. We actually create it for you. As you can see, the landing pages are sleek, effective mobile landing pages. So it's that kind of a quick way to get ridiculously good-looking, effective mobile landing pages that will not cause people to make themselves want to throw their phones across the room. All right, well, thank you guys for bearing with me. I am so sick today, so I'm so glad we were able to make it through today's webinar. And I'm going to turn it over to Callie for some special offers.
Great. Thanks so much, Erin. That was awesome. And before we jump into special offers, definitely submit any questions that you have for Erin. We do have a few minutes, so I want to get to a couple, if not all, so definitely submit them as you go. Now, throughout the presentation, Erin was talking a lot about these sins and, you know, how WordStream can help you overcome them. So if you'd like a free personalized live demo of how WordStream Advisor can help you overcome these sins and really start, you know, kicking butt in PPC, definitely select that. We also have a one-on-one AdWords assessment with a certified AdWords consultant for you today. This person will walk you through your AdWords account, show you where you're doing really, really well, but also point out those areas where you need to improve, and they'll give you advice on how you can do that and do it quickly. So I definitely would recommend you selecting that if you need some help in getting started, or just, you know, maybe your account has been, you haven't been in it in a while, so definitely select that. And if you're all set, just let us know that as well. And now I'm going to jump into some questions for Erin. But first, let me reiterate that we will be sharing both the recording and the slides later on this afternoon. So Erin, if you're taking over an AdWords account from someone else, such as an agency, or you're coming into a new job, and right from the get-go, you know that there's a ton of work that needs to be done, where would you recommend starting, and kind of how would you prioritize which areas you would work on first?
The age-old question. So I totally understand that this is a really, really, really tough situation to be in. One thing you could do is just plug your account into our grader, and our grader will do this assessment for you of your account, and it'll help you identify the key places where you have wasted spend. That's where I would start, because that can help you prioritize where you're failing, and then you can make adjustments as you go on those specific areas, if that makes sense. It's kind of a good way to identify problems and identify prioritizations.
I'm going to throw the link for our grader in the chat box right now, so you can definitely run that really quickly. You can get a full report within 60 to 70 seconds.
Yeah. And not just that. I mean, so the grader will help you on a broader level. Otherwise, I'm gonna tell you something really important right now. I wouldn't make big changes all at once. I'm a big fan of going kind of piece by piece, doing gradual changes, not rocking the boat too much, unless your account is just so horrible that you need to start all over again, in which case wipe it clean and do start over again. If you just have nightmare quality scores and a disastrous account, fine, wipe it clean. But 9 times out of 10, there's stuff that you're going to want to preserve. And in those cases, go slowly, make small incremental changes, identify the key ad groups you want to start fixing, where you want to start restructuring, focus on those first, and then move outwards, right? Like, focus on the key problem areas or the places where you're spending a lot of money but not seeing a lot of return. Soup those up, and then start focusing kind of on the less important ones. But don't try and change everything at once.
Cool. Next question, how do you go about structuring client accounts that have overlapping keywords?
Overlapping keywords. Great question. So first things first, I think just for any of you guys who aren't familiar with this, overlapping keywords can compete with one another. Now, I did talk about doing a tiered bidding strategy whereby you do bid on the same keyword multiple times. The key here is a different match type and a different bid, meaning it's targeted to different groups of people. That's okay, but the same keyword, same match type is a problem. And if it's focused on the same targeting, right? If it's focused on different targeting, like a different location, it's no problem. So if you do indeed have duplicate keywords, I would look at which one is performing better, you know, and which one is in a better situation. You want to pick the one that's performing well in an ad group that makes sense for it. So pause the others. Don't delete the others, pause the others. You can always turn them back on again if you change your mind or want to go a different direction. You can also review the historical data for them and be able to see it in the future and the like.
Great. What time period does Google use to represent your CTR?
Oh, you can set it to whatever time period that you want.
Great, that would be nice. How important do you think it is to incorporate Bing and Yahoo into your paid search strategy?
Great question. Unpopular opinion alert. I'm a fan of Bing. Most people hate Bing. I like Bing. Bing is a good opportunity to do a little bit of expansion without going whole hog because it doesn't typically get as much traffic as AdWords, so you're not committing as much money to it. Also tends to be cheaper than AdWords, but it's a good way, you know, if you're happy with what you're doing in AdWords, you're getting a lot of good traffic, you're ready for kind of the next step, you want to expand. Bing is great because it doesn't function that differently. So you can duplicate your account and just roll with it. Duplicate your AdWords account, roll with it in Bing, make your bids a little bit lower, obviously lower budget, but it's a good way to kind of squeeze more juice out of PPC without doing a lot more work. So my thoughts are, nail AdWords first. That's really going to be the lion's share of the traffic. Once you're happy with AdWords, then definitely think about expanding to Bing. For certain industries, you could yield amazing results. For other industries, we see that they don't do as well on Bing. There's plenty of research online if you're curious how your industry does. Another thing to point out, don't discount things like Facebook. I think Facebook's going to get really, really hot in the next couple of years. It already is pretty hot. I know a lot of people are like, I don't know if I really want to do display. I like the idea of search. Facebook has the most incredible targeting options available. And it kind of helps negate that lack of an active searcher, right? Because you're hitting just the right people with your ads. You're not just plastering them like billboards to just anybody walking by. So if you're looking to expand and you're trying to decide, do I go to Bing? Do I go to AdWords? Or do I go to Facebook? What direction do I go? You should definitely look into both of them, and depending on the resources that you have to kind of build out these campaigns, you may decide that one is better for you than the other, but you should definitely explore both.
Great. Awesome. Thanks so much, Erin. And I have a couple more questions, but unfortunately we're out of time. But a lot of questions are relating Google's recent news about removing the sidebar ads. So I want to encourage all of you to visit the WordStream blog. We have 2 blog posts about it that will give you a good insight into how you can prepare for that. And definitely be on the lookout. We'll probably be doing a webinar about that within the next week or two, where we'll dive into more detail for you and answer all your questions. So, Erin, I'd like to thank you. I know you're not feeling so hot today, but
I apologize, guys.
Got through it. Again, be on the lookout for an email from Erin. She will be sending the slides and the recording along. And if you have any questions at all pertaining to this webinar or anything WordStream related, definitely let us know, and we'll be happy to help out. And we look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. So thanks so much and have a great day.